Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm here today to show you how you can seal some of your dried goods into Mylar bags. This is a very good method, especially for those of you who are having a real difficult time finding either the food saver canisters or jar sealer tops for sealing things into jars, or if you have a shortage on jars and you want to free up some of your jar space, then this is a really good method. Now, here are the benefits to Mylar over using jars. I love, as you guys know that have been following me for a while, sealing a lot of things into jars because it's glass, I can see what's in there, and it's reusable. I love doing that. The two main issues with glass is that one, it's breakable, and two, it does allow light to come in. So if you're storing your foods in a place where you can't keep them fully blocked out from light, that light is one of the things that's going to degrade the nutrients that are in your herbs and other things that you're storing in there. That's what makes Mylar such a great choice, because let's say in the event of an earthquake or you've got to travel, this is going to make it lighter weight. So actually it has three benefits. It's lighter weight, it's going to block out the light, and if in an earthquake it falls off your shelves or whatever, gets knocked over, you don't have to worry about it breaking. Now, it still can burst open depending on how heavy the bag is and what's inside it and how far it falls. So it's still a good idea to try to keep it in a place where it's not going to fall far in the event of an earthquake. So what I have right here is a bag of the white cheddar powder I did the other day. And as you can see, it's very tightly sealed. And I'm so thrilled with this. Now, I've used Mylar in the past. I haven't done it in a long time because I got all into the jars. But now with me putting up even more food than usual, even though I have a lot of jars right now, I want to conserve them for canning rather than storing as much dried things in them. So I'm going to start doing some of my things into the Mylar bag. So one of the things I've got right here, I already have them opened up, I just did it, are pecans and some yeast flakes that I also get from Hoosier Hill Farms, which is the same place I get the white cheddar, the milk powder, the heavy cream powder, and the butter powder, which I talked about in another video. If you're curious about that, I'll link to that video down below, and that video will also have the links to all these various things, and I will also link to the yeast flakes in the description box. Anyway, I have a lot of these stored up, but I have yet to do anything different with them. They're still in these plastic canisters. So this is going to be one of the things I'm going to do. Now, I prefer to get the Ziploc bags. In fact, I thought that's what I was ordering, but because I put in a search Ziploc, but then wasn't paying attention because I was looking for 1 gallon bags, and I was also looking for something that was at least 5 mil. I recommend you don't go any less than 5 mil. In fact, this is lighter. This isn't as thick as I remembered 5 mil being, and so I might have got my numbers wrong, but at least no thinner than that. Don't go below that. I've seen some out there that are 4.75. No, 5 mil I think is the lightest you should go when it comes to your Mylar bags. It's still a good weight, but even go up to 7.5. I think it's going to depend too on what exactly it is you're storing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and dump these yeast flakes in there that I did just open up, so you don't have to watch me do it. And I know that this 1 gallon bag, and remember, you can get Mylar bags all the way in any size from little teeny tiny clear up to 5 gallons, and I think maybe even bigger than that, because I get the 5 gallon ones for using to store like 50-pound bags of grains and stuff inside of buckets. Now, I should have done this first. What I have here is a flat iron that I went through a brief phase where I thought it'd be fun to straighten my hair, and don't do that anymore. It's hard on the hair anyway. But I'm glad I kept this because this is really great, having a flat iron. You can use a regular iron too for sealing your bag. So I'm going to turn that on and let it get heated up. Now, a lot of times when you're purchasing your Mylar bags, they will come with the O2 absorbers with them. So I recommend when you do that, get the ones that already come with the O2 absorbers. And this little pink dot here shows that it hasn't been exposed to oxygen. When this gets exposed to oxygen, the little pink dot will turn blue. So I really wish they would vacuum seal each one of these individually into so you just open one at a time, but at least they have these divided up by 10s, because I bought a pack of 50 of these. Now, Mylar bags are going up in price, and if you get Ziploc and the heavier mill you get, the more expensive they are. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and while I'm waiting for that thing to heat up, I'm going to go ahead and dump my pecans in here. And yes, I do store pecans, all kinds of nuts, into jars. This will be the first time trying the Mylar bag for the nuts. Pecans are one of my, well, I just like all kinds of nuts. Pecans are one of my favorites. So I want to shake those down because they're taking up a lot of space that way. So you want to have room, you want to have plenty of space. You don't want it so full that you can't get this nice and flat. Now, once whatever it is you're using to seal your bag with is hot enough to seal, then start by, make sure this is as clean as you can get it here, because that can prevent a good seal. And then what I like to do is seal about half of it like this. And I'm still getting wrinkles, but I like to go over it several times. Just want to leave enough of an opening for me to toss that O2 absorber in there. Okay, now let's do the same thing here. And I just keep going over it. This works really good. And now, this is where I'm going to go ahead and open up my jar. Get a couple of these out, one for each bag. One for this bag. Now that I've got that done, let me do this one first because I'm more concerned about knocking this powdery stuff over. And so now that that's done, what I want to do is try to push out as much of the air as I can. You don't have to get it all out, but this is just going to make it all that much better. And once I push out as much of the air as I can, then I'm going to finish sealing this. This is how I've sealed up my big bags too that I store grain in. You'll see that there's still air in there. Now what I like to do is check it by squeezing it. No air is coming out. That means it is well sealed. Even with all those dumb wrinkles in there. Okay, now let's do this one. Taking this and going like this works really good. Don't go too slow, but don't go too fast either. And I just like to go over it several times because I want to make sure, especially with those wrinkles in there, because I didn't get it flat enough. I'm trying to work quickly too. Again, check it. Make sure you can't squeeze any air out. And then you'll know after a while, if the oxygen absorber, it takes time. So it took a full day for it to look like this. It wasn't until the next day that when I checked this, that it was nice and tightly packed like this is here. So you're not going to see that immediately right here. And so these are the things that I'm storing for long term. I still am going to keep stuff in jars that I can work through because I've got this sealed. So when I rip this off, I can still reuse this bag, but I won't be able to put as much in it. I'll only be able to fill it to here and then seal it. So yes, you can recycle your Mylar bags and reuse them like you would jars, but they also, after a time, they only going to have so many really good uses for a couple of reasons. One, because if you're gonna seal it like I'm doing here, the bag's gonna keep getting smaller and smaller, just like you would do with your food saver bags. You can keep reusing your food saver bags as long as there's no holes in them, but you have to cut off at least one end of the seal, so that means the things you put in there are gonna be less and less. So that's all I gotta do, and then I'll write on what's in here. I can easily tell that this one's pecans and this one is the yeast flakes. And by tomorrow, this time tomorrow, these should look as tight as these. And again, don't forget within with your oxygen absorbers, find a way to seal them up tight. I'm hoping there's some other people that have some other ideas of how best to keep your oxygen absorbers once you've opened a pack of them. Share with us down below the best way to store them once it's been opened so that they're still good when you need them. All right, well, I hope that answered a couple of questions and that helps give you some ideas of some more ways you can store your food. And don't forget to check out my whole playlist on frequently asked questions that I will be linking in the description box down below, and hopefully that will answer some of the various questions that you have. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.